The Lloydminster Bobcats currently sitting in third place, just 2 points up on the Sherwood Park Crusaders in the AJHL North Division. Finally, after a poor season, guys, last year, they clinched a playoff spot with about 7 games to go, and of course they play later this Friday. So with all this said and where they are, they've clinched a spot. They still haven't determined where they're going to be seeding-wise, but can this team, if they make it past the first round, make some noise or cause some teams to take notice, guys?
Yes. Yes, I think they can. They're a team that at the start of the year, I think they were disregarded. They were expected, in a lot of opinions, to be a 6th or 7th in the North. And with the guidance of Gary Van Haraway and Kyle Tapp, they've done great things this year beyond what, when you look at that roster on paper, what it says that it should do. They've had guys performing at their utmost. That continues to be the case. They've gutted it out. They've beat the number 1 team in the country twice in the last month. Once in a shootout, the only shootout loss I think that the Spruce Grove Saints have. They've got those intangible things and the work ethic, I think, to maybe surprise somebody.
They don't have the talent of Fort Mac or Spruce Grove. They don't have the talent of a lot of teams in that division, but they're a better team than most of those teams in that division. They work hard, and Gary's got everybody bought in. And when you have an entire team, your defense, your forwards, your goalies, all bought in, good things can happen. The only bad thing about this season, like we were talking before the show, it's like the American League East in the days when the Yankees and the Red Sox were so strong. It's like, oh great, we have a great team, but oh, we got the Yankees and the Red Sox. Oh, we have a good team here in Lloyd, but look at Fort Mac, look at Spruce Grove, number 1 team in the nation, number 2 team in the nation. We have to beat those guys to really get past.
I'm going to throw a scenario really quick. You have currently, like I mentioned before to start the show, or at least the segment, the Bobcats are in 3rd. Say if they drop to 4th. Now, if you look at the top 4 automatically qualify for the next round, it looks like the Bobcats would face Spruce. That'd be a better matchup than saying going to Fort Mac, right?
Far better matchup. The Oil Barons have handed it to the Lloydminster all season long. It hasn't been close in a few of those games. Spruce Grove, the Bobcats have lost once to them by more than 2 goals. They beat them twice. Nobody else has done that. Just the travel schedule of going to the Saints over heading up to the Cashman Center in Fort Mac, far more attractive. But at the end of the day, you want to finish as high as you can, obviously, and unfortunately, that looks like they ended up playing Fort Mac, who seems to have matched up with them better.
I want to say this as well. Whenever Spruce was in an even strength situation or shorthanded, that's when the Bobcats did their best. Most of the goals they had in those losses to Spruce, by the way, were because they were shorthanded and they gave the power play to that dangerous Saints squad. I want to move on to a team that's very dangerous from the point. That's Pittsburgh Penguins. Of course, Chris Letang, one of their anchors from that defensive standpoint, he suffered a stroke last week. He's ruled to be okay, has a hole in his heart. They say blood thinners will treat him, and he should be fine. His career's not in jeopardy. About 6 weeks is what they're saying in terms of a timetable for his return. Does that seem lofty for a guy who just had a stroke?
I'm not a doctor. I watched a lot of Doogie Howser in the 80s, but I'm not a doctor. And a stroke, I mean, it seems far more severe than a 6-week penalty. This isn't a stretched out ACL. It's nothing like that. But also understanding there's obviously varying levels of what a stroke means. It doesn't obviously mean that he's gone limp on one side of his body. They're medical professionals. They're going to know a lot more than I am. But 6 weeks seems insane to me.
Well, you got to think that the Penguins have all the medical experts at their disposal in Pittsburgh, that they're not going to make a decision without his clearing all the green lights and getting the green light from the medical staff in Pittsburgh before he hits the ice. So you got to think, 6 weeks sounds quickly, but you got to believe in the medical staff in Pittsburgh.
Nobody thought Steve Stamkos would be on skates.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, but we know what situation that happened, and it was personally a bit of a stretch for him to make it. Kudos to getting that far, but he needs to heal up for the Tampa Bay Lightning's sake. Speaking of Tampa Bay Lightning, would you take Martin St. Louis, or would you take, I don't know, Claude Giroux? According to Ed SNIDER, the owner of the Philadelphia Flyers, he says he'd take Giroux by a long shot because he is a heck of a player than half the guys in the NHL, or more than half the guys in the NHL right now. Does he make a point here, and should he be necessarily the successor to Steven Stamkos.
Well, Schneider's sticking up for his player. So he wants Giroux to play because he's a flyer. I don't think he really even cares about the Olympics, honestly. So I say, yeah.
We know he's not a fan.
He hates the Olympics. But Giroux's a younger guy. I can see his point of view that Giroux is as good as any player on that Olympic team, and he is. He just didn't get the call.
All right, guys, how about this? NHL. The break is upon us. Who stands to benefit the most? Which team?
I think and I hate to say it because, I mean, we're in a part of the country where everybody dislikes them, but the Vancouver Canucks most likely. I mean, it gives them that 2 or 2.5 weeks, whatever it is, for the other Sedin. I can't tell them apart, but the other Sedin to get healthy again. And the last 7 games that they've tanked have shown how important he is. Gives them a chance to get rid of all the free Torts signs and get him back to behind the bench. And I think that'll be all the difference. I think they'll be there.
I think Vancouver, yeah, one, and Ottawa. And Ottawa's in a dogfight in the East. And then Ottawa comes out of that break, and they go out west. They have games in Vancouver, Edmonton, Calgary, Winnipeg. Before that, they're home against Detroit. So in about a week there, they have 4 games that if they don't come out strong in that first week on the road, it's going to be a tough sled.
All right, guys, we're going to take another quick commercial break. When we return, we have Lloydminster's favorite game coming up next.